All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight for the Transfer to UC Davis College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences webinar. My name is Sheila Zhang, and I'm one of the assistant directors for the UC Davis Transfer Opportunity Program. I am being joined by some amazing UC Davis students and my colleague Vanessa from the College of Ag. You're going to get to hear from all of us as we go through the webinar and the presentation tonight. But without further ado, I'm actually going to go over the overview and then pass the mic over to my colleague Vanessa to present the college highlights. So tonight's webinar is we're gonna highlight the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, and then we'll be going over admission information to help you figure out what kind of requirements are needed and if your major is selective or not. We'll also have a panel with our students and Vanessa, and then we will have time for our Q&A. So if you have any questions for our panelists, the Q&A is when you can send in your questions. And then we have the contact us and resources information slides that we'll be wrapping up with. If you do have any questions throughout the slide, please put them in the Q&A located on the bottom. Once again, after we introduce our panelists, we'll open up for the Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to my colleague Vanessa to share more about the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences.
Thank you, Sheila. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So like she said, my name is Vanessa Talavera. I am the outreach coordinator for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. And so I am one of many of all the support that you can get at UC Davis. So for all those that are looking to transfer, here is the family that you'll be coming into. We are a team of advisors, major advisors, peer advisors, Aggie Jumpstarters, Aggie ambassadors, and of course, faculty and staff as well. So that's just kind of our beautiful blend of who we have here at the College of Ag. So I think if we go to the next slide, it will show not what I thought it was going to show. But essentially when you come to Davis, there's going to be the major advisors and the college advisors. And so basically when you come in, you can talk to any of the advisors, but the dean's office, which is where I'm housed, that is who you'll go to talk about all different types of things in terms of like, if you have questions about like financial aid, or if you're like, oh, who do I go to talk to about getting involved, or who do I talk to about dropping a class, adding a class, or maybe I don't know which major I want to transfer into once you get here. And then the major advisors will be more specific to your major. So that's kind of just the network of how we are, and we're very intertwined with all of campus. But kind of zooming out a little bit, as you may know or maybe not know, we are #1 in the nation for agriculture and forestry, and #2 in the world for plant and animal sciences. And so we're also #1 in the nation for plant and animal sciences as well. So we really like to emphasize research and learning and teaching and developing you as a student and as a scientist once you come to UC Davis. So essentially you're with like the top faculty in the world. So something pretty special to be looking forward to once you transfer here too. Let me go to the next slide. And so the College of Ag at UC Davis is really interesting if you're kind of looking at the different types of majors. And I will also put into the chat for everyone to see all the different majors that we have. You'll see that we have things like managerial economics, we have food science, animal science is a pretty popular one. And all these are under 3 different divisions within the college. So agricultural sciences, environmental sciences, they're in the name, they're the most popular. But one that's a little known is humans and social sciences. And so that actually encompassed my major, which was human development. And so basically, and I think if we maybe go to the next slide, all of the different majors that are within the college, they essentially are ways that how we can solve real world problems. So whether that's at the human level, the local level, community, the global scale, like we have global disease biology, which is a great pre-med major. And then of course, animal science, which also looks at different, like how we do like CO2 emissions and stuff like that, and just like how we can make a better impact on the world itself, whether it's at the people level, animal level, insect level, but then as well as the climate as well. So this has changed a little bit. We have 27 different majors and 40 different minors. Viticulture and enology was our newest minor that we got added to our list. So yay, they are a growing program. Also, I'll note that just within the College of Ag in general, we have a lot of scholarships available. Viticulture and enology, they are a big program, well, small program, big funding. So if you're looking for somewhere you're going to be financially supported, you're also going to want to look at the College of Ag and Environmental Sciences. And then we have over 300 faculty, over 7,000 students. So we're the second largest college within UC Davis. But in UC Davis, we're one of the largest UCs just because we have all of our agricultural land. And then we also have some majors we like to highlight, which are ag and environmental technology. Ag and environmental technology, it's like sort of our newest major, but not so much anymore. It's about 6 years old, but basically if you're interested in AI and robotics, and especially in how that applies to like agriculture, definitely look into that as one of our newest majors, quote unquote new. And then we also have environmental toxicology. That one is also one of our smallest majors, but it's a great major if you're interested in like forensics. It has like a forensic specialization in there. And then also it's just really good if you're interested in like pollution, climate change, any of that good stuff as well. So we have a lot of different options. Of course, we're really great for a pre-vet route if you're looking at animal science, animal bio, wildlife, fish, and conservation biology. But then as well, we're great for like the pre-med route. So we have like nutrition, clinical nutrition. We also have global disease biology, like I said before. So a lot of these options are going to be great for anything that you're doing post-grad. So, and I'll also mention we have some selective majors, which are changing. So starting fall of 2027, if you're looking to apply to transfer in the fall of 2027, you're going to be looking out for animal biology, animal science, wildlife, fish, and conservation biology, which are our newest selective majors with selective requirements. And then not changing is biotechnology, manager economics, and then viticulture and enology. So we added some more to our list, but I'm sure Sheila will be going over those of what you need and what are the requirements. So just be on the lookout for that. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, so we have a lot of fun things. So we work hard, play hard here at UC Davis, and especially in the College of Ag. So we have some opportunities that basically are great for your resume, extracurricular, getting work experience. So we can see those on the next slide. One of those opportunities is Aggie ambassadors. So we are lucky to have some Aggie ambassadors here. We have a lot of internships available, especially since like a lot of them are built within your major. There's also lab experience that you'll get. So basically a lot of our or most of our majors are STEM majors, so you're going to be in the lab, which is good. And then we go on field trips. Ag Ambassadors goes on field trips too. We go to different places on campus to expose folks to different parts and facilities of UC Davis, so you'll also get a kick out of that. We also go to like State of FFA. We also go to World Ag Expo in Tulare, so shout out if anyone's in the Central Valley. But yeah, just a lot of different opportunities that are available to you as a College of Ag student. So you're going to get that hands-on learning, but then also that research and academic support when you are here. Thanks. Yeah, so more fun things that we do besides Aggie ambassadors. We have career discovery groups. So if you are interested in multiple careers and you're like, I don't really know where to go or I don't know where to start, join career discovery groups. It is a great way that we have a partnership with the Internship and Career Center, or now just known as the Career Center. We also have Aggie Jumpstart. So if you're first gen, low income, underrepresented, or identify as any of those, it's a great program to just learn about UC Davis and get resources right away. We have a bunch of college affiliated student organizations, internships, like I said, and mental health and well-being resources. So we have an integrated CAN counselor within our office, which is great. So you can get any of that mental support that you need when you're here, because it is a quarter system. So everything goes pretty fast. So we want to be able to support you in any shape and form that we can. And then we also do a lot of fun events and activities like Coffee with the Dean, Slice of Advising, Study Break. These are just basically opportunities for you to like kind of like cool down, grab a snack, grab some free stuff, and then kind of meet with our office like more in a casual way, and then go on your merry way and keep studying. But yeah, essentially we're just here to support you. We have all the different types of majors hopefully that you are looking for. And if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A or feel free to reach out to me afterward as well. And thank you for putting all those links in there too. But yeah, so that's kind of like in a nutshell what we have to offer you. I really hope that you look into our majors and hopefully you're excited to apply, whether it's this year or next fall. But yeah, I'll kick it back to Sheila, unless there's another slide that I forgot about.
Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing information on the College of Ag. And once again, if you do have any questions for Vanessa, please put them in the Q&A. We'll have some time later on to answer any questions that you are all posting in the Q&A. In this next section here, we're going to go over preparing for admissions. So very general information on how you can prepare to transfer for UC Davis and for the College of Ag. So we do have a flow chart here, kind of just like the steps for preparation, right? So if you are looking to transfer, the most important thing would be first and foremost to have the minimum UC transfer requirements. Now, as a transfer student who is going to be coming to a UC campus, you do need to meet the minimum UC transfer requirements. We'll go over that in the next slide. And then the next question you should be asking is my major selective? So in this case, you know, do I have to meet additional courses for my major? Do I have required GPAs that I need to have for my major? If you've answered no, my major is not selective, then in this case, you want to focus on just completing the transfer admission requirements and any recommended courses and general education requirements that you can before you transfer to UC Davis. Now, if you answered, yeah, my major is selective, then in this case, you want to make sure that you're completing those required courses and meeting the required GPAs along with the minimum UC transfer requirements. Now, UC Davis has something called the tag. We'll go over the tag in a couple of slides, but some majors are available for tag. So if your major is available for tag, you can apply for an admission guarantee into your major. So that would be like another set of requirements, right? Usually with tag requirements, sometimes you may have additional GPA or like you have to meet the additional tag requirements for units or enrollment. So in this case, when you're thinking about preparing, you want to make sure that you're completing the minimum UC transfer requirements. And then if your major is selective, you're completing the major selection for your major for the campus you're applying to. And then lastly, if your major is available to tag and the UC campus you're applying to is open to tag and you're meeting the requirements, and in that case, you would do the tag. All right, so let's go into the specific requirements. For the minimum UC transfer admission requirements, there's 3 criteria here. There's the units, the GPA, and the 7-course pattern. So for units, in order to transfer as a junior level applicant for the UC system, you do need at least a minimum of 60 semester or 90 quarter units of UC transferable credit. It's really important to note that for the units, we are counting courses that are UC transferable. Therefore, if you take a course that does not transfer to UC, those units won't count. So you want to make sure that when you're counting your units, you're looking at which courses transfer to UC, because those are the credits that are going to count towards your minimum unit. The next requirement is the GPA. Now, for the UC system, it is a 2.4 minimum GPA to be considered for admission. However, some campuses do have a higher GPA. At UC Davis, the minimum overall GPA starts at a 2.8 for all non-engineering majors. If you are an engineering major or you're also thinking about engineering, it is actually a 3.1 GPA overall. So just know that for UC Davis, the minimum overall GPA is a 2.8 and not a 2.4. And then in addition to this too, depending on what your major at UC Davis is, you may have additional GPA requirements for courses that are specific to your major. And we'll look at those different selection requirements in a few slides. And then last but not least, we have the 7-course pattern. The 7-course pattern includes 7 courses. So you've got 2 UC transferable English courses that you need to complete, 1 UC transferable math course, and then 4 elective courses from at least 2 of the following 3 subject areas listed here. So basically, for these last 4 courses, we want you to mix and match your courses across the different subject areas. We don't want all courses from like physical and biological sciences or all courses from arts and humanities only. You have to have at least 2 of the subject areas listed here. So these are the minimum UC transfer admission requirements. We'll go ahead and drop the link for the minimum requirements in the chat as well. All right, so the next part is selective majors. So what exactly is a selective major, right? Especially for UC Davis. Here at UC Davis, a selective major is a major that requires you to have specific coursework and or GPA requirements for admission. Now note that selective majors will vary from one UC campus to another. So if you are thinking about applying broadly, definitely check in with the other UC campuses that you're also considering. For UC Davis, our selective majors do require that you have your coursework and your GPAs completed by the end of the spring term to be considered for fall admissions. And for the selective majors, you also need to meet these requirements for the tag as well. So do know that if you're selective, if your major is selective, you have to meet the selection for both regular admissions and for tag if you're thinking about tagging. And the required courses and GPAs are going to vary from one major to another, even if it's in the same college here at UC Davis. All right, so we've got a quick, just kind of like overview of the different selective majors here at UC Davis. You can also find them on our selective majors website. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. So if you want to see all of the selective majors that are here at UC Davis, you can look at the link that has just been posted. We are highlighting the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences today. So as you can see in this blue text box here, we do have 6 majors listed here. So animal biology, as Vanessa mentioned, is going to be new as a selective major starting fall 2027. Animal science, also new starting fall 2027. Biotechnology, viticulture and enology, managerial economics, and then wildlife, fish, and conservation biology is also one of the newer majors that are going to be selective starting fall 2027. All right, let's go ahead and look at the specific requirements needed for these majors. So if you are thinking about coming in as an animal bio major, starting next fall for fall 2027 applicants, this major is going to be selective. If you are applying this year, so if you're already working on your application and you plan to submit it by the end of December this year, the major is not yet selective. But if you are planning to submit your application next year or for future terms after next year, you will want to make sure that you are completing the following requirements here for animal bio. So you are required to maintain a 2.0 GPA across the entire group of courses listed here. You do have the MAP 17A, B, or 21A, B options that you have to complete. This is usually your Calc 1 and Calc 2 courses. You also have to complete general chemistry 1 and 2 at UC. So these are listed in the UC Davis course numbers. If you are wondering what they are equivalent to at your community college, please check the assist.org website, or you can also schedule an appointment with a top advisor to go over these requirements as well. We'll drop the link for the top website in the chat as well. But yeah, for animal bio, you are required to have completion of MAP 17A and B or 21A and B. You need the Chem 2A, B, and C courses and the Bio 2A, B, and C courses as well. All right. So next for the animal science major, once again, this is a new major too, and it's going to be selective starting next year for fall 2027 applicants. If you are applying to animal science, you want to make sure that you maintain a 2.5 GPA across the entire group of courses listed here. So what's different from animal science and animal bio is that you do have three options for the calculus sequence. And then for the chemistry, animal science does require you to complete organic chemistry. So if you're debating between animal bio and animal science, do know that the preparation for selection is going to be different. And then you have the bio sequence that you need to complete. All right, for those of you interested in biotechnology, you do need to maintain a 2.5 GPA in each of the series here. It's really important to also note the language for the selection. So for like animal bio and animal science that we just went over, the GPA needs to be maintained across the entire group, right? So an entire group means all of the courses. For biotechnology, it's in each series. So when you are looking at our selection requirements and you see each series, that means like for the math courses alone, you need a 2.5. For the chem courses alone, you need a 2.5. And then the bio courses, you need a 2.5. So definitely pay attention to the language when you're preparing for selection here at UC Davis as to whether or not you need the GPA in each series or across the entire group of courses. All right, next is managerial economics. So for managerial economics, you need to maintain a 2.0 GPA and across the entire group of courses. You are required to have Econ 1A and B completed, and then you can have the option of either Math 17A and B or Math 21A and B. And then for stats, you can take either stats 13 or 32 prior to transferring. For viticulture and enology, students do need to maintain a 3.0 GPA across the entire group of courses. You are required to have your general chemistry courses along with the OChem, the first OChem or Chem 8 here. And then you can complete either Math 19A or Math 21A and the equivalent of Physics 1A and B or Physics 7A and Bio 2A. And then last but not least, as Vanessa mentioned, wildlife, fish, and conservation bio is going to be a new selective major, also selected for fall 2027 applicants, so starting next year. For those of you interested in this major, you do need to maintain a 3.0 GPA across the entire group of courses. You'll need to complete either Math 17A and B or 21A and B equivalent at your community college. You need to complete the Chem 2A, B, and C courses and the Bio 2A and B C courses. Once again, these courses are listed in the UC Davis course numbers, so do definitely check out assist.org to see what your course equivalent is going to be at your community college. And then also, if you're not too sure, you can always schedule an appointment with the top advisor or your designated UC Davis advisor. So we'll drop the advisor link in the chat in a few moments. All right, and then last but not least, for those of you who are interested in landscape architecture, landscape architecture is a pre-major. So if you are thinking about this major, you will be applying as a pre-landscape architecture major instead of the actual major. There are no specific requirements for pre-landscape architecture. So once again, because it's not selective, you want to focus on meeting those minimum UC transfer requirements. If you are interested in doing a tag, the minimum GPA is a 3.2 for tag, so just keep that in mind. And then do know that if you are coming as a pre-landscape architecture major, you are required to submit an e-portfolio application to the department in February after you enroll to UC Davis. So if you'd like more information on landscape architecture or how this process works, feel free to visit the Human Ecology website listed here on the slide. All right. And then just really briefly going over some information for the tag. There are 6 UC campuses that offer guaranteed admission to students who are meeting the tag requirements, which are pretty specific and by campus and varies by major. You can submit only one tag application to one UC campus for the term you're applying for. The filing period is in the month of September, so some of you may have already submitted a tag, or some of you are maybe on your way to working on a tag for next year. do know that if you are submitting a tag, you still need to submit the UC application. But for those of you who are interested in guaranteeing a spot in admissions for one of 6 UC campuses, the tag is a great opportunity for that. For UC Davis, our tag requirements are going to be listed on our tag website. I'll go ahead and drop the link in the chat as well, but you want to make sure that you are visiting the website and checking out these requirements. There are going to be additional GPA requirements, so the overall GPA for the colleges are going to be higher for tag. We also have certain requirements that we want you to complete in regards to units and enrollment. So do you know that usually tag requirements are a little bit more than the regular admission requirements? And then also too, if you are tagging, you still need to meet your selective major requirements if your major is selective. All right. So if you are planning to tag and you fall into one of these criteria, you won't be eligible to tag. So if you're currently concurrently enrolled as a high school student, you won't be able to tag. If you already have, a bachelor's, graduate, or professional degree, you won't be able to tag. And then if you were enrolled previously at a UC campus and left in bad standing, you won't be able to tag. And if you were previously enrolled at UC Davis during a regular term, you won't be able to tag back to Davis. So just keep in mind though that although you if any of these situations apply to you, you won't be able to tag. You may still be eligible for regular admission. So if none of these criteria apply to you, then don't worry about it. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to our panelists, since we are now at the panel section of our presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexa. I am double majoring in global disease biology and psychology. I transferred from Solano Community College, and campus involvement, I work in a lab, an environmental toxicology lab, where I do the genotyping and where they conduct research in type 1 diabetes. And I'm also a part of the ID STAR Infectious Disease Student Research Assistant Program at the UC Davis Hospital. And there I work with the clinical trials department, and I help with the data entry, shadow appointments, and conduct patient pre-screening for all the clinical trials, which is super awesome. And then I am pre-med, so I chose UC Davis because of all of the health-related opportunities, and then also the transfer community here at UC Davis. Being able to receive guidance from from programs like TOP throughout my transfer journey really showed me the sense of community here at the campus. And then we also have the HPA, or Health Professions Advising, HRE, health-related experiences, where you can get hands-on experience at different medical settings, and then student-run clinics and research are just a few of the many opportunities available to students here. I'm going to pass it over to Kyle.
Hello, my name's Kyle Miller. I'm currently an environmental toxicology major. I transferred to El Camino College, and right now it's my first quarter, so I'm just looking to get into things right now. So I'm looking at the toxicology club, I'm looking at the men's rowing team. I currently just signed up for Aggie Ambassadors, so I'm just getting my hands in everything I can here. I chose Davis originally because I was an animal bio major. However, about halfway through the admissions process, when I'd already applied to animal bio, I realized I really loved chemistry, so I decided to switch my major to toxicology to get the best of both worlds. And through that, I felt really supported through the entire College of Ag, doing that switch. And I'm just really happy to be here for the research opportunities that it provides, for the internship opportunities it provides. So I'm just really happy to be here. I'm not sure who I'm passing it off to next, but yeah.
That's me. My name's Emily Boom. I'm an animal science and management major, and I attended Berkeley City College in the Bay Area. And then my campus involvement, I'm a part of Aggie Ambassadors as well. This is my start of my second year here at Davis. I joined Aggie Ambassadors as a way to, um, I guess, gain more experience. And then also, I was a little scared being a transfer student about making friends. So I was like, let me join. And sure enough, now I know plenty of familiar faces around campus, thanks to Aggie Ambassadors. And then also, I do work at the Meat Lab. If you haven't heard of the Meat Lab on campus, here's your little plug. We're a USDA inspected slaughter and processing facility. So we get to process some of the animals that are raised here at some of the facilities. We do beef, we do pigs, and we do lamb. We do anything from carcasses to wholesale cuts, retail cuts, down to like your processed goods like your bacon and your snack sticks. And we have sales on Thursdays and Fridays from 2 to 4. So if you want to try some really, really good bacon, come check us out. And then why did I choose UC Davis? When I was going through the transfer process and I was trying to decide on which school, I got accepted into Davis for my major that I'm currently in, and it seemed to be more of a passion that I wanted to pursue rather than just, something simple that I was just going for. So I decided to come tour the campus, fell in love with it. If you haven't toured the campus yet and you're thinking about UC Davis, you need to come tour it because the rest was history for me. And I'll pass it off to the next person.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maritza. I am an animal science major, and I transferred from Woodland Community College, so I'm not far from home at all. I signed up for the Aggie Ambassadors as well as the Vet Aid Club, the Pre-Vets Club. I'm also part of the Aggie Jumpstart program and the Horsing Around Equine Club. So I have a really busy schedule. But I chose UC Davis because, it's one of the top universities for the veterinary animal science program. So to me, it was with us being in such close to agriculture, geographically, it just felt like such an obvious decision. So I'll pass on to whoever's next.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily. I'm an environmental science and management major, and I transferred from Saddleback Community College in Southern California. So shout out to any of y'all who are from SoCal. Like Kyle, I really jumped into the opportunities that Davis had to offer here. So I'm a student outreach ambassador with TOP. I did also participate in a quarter of Aggie ambassadors. I jumped into picnic day, assistant director position, which is through ASUCD, which is the student-ran government here on campus. And I volunteer with Whole Earth Festival, UC Davis Sustainability, the Arboretum plant sales, and then I like to play basketball in my free time. So I joined the basketball club here. So it's super easy to get involved on campus and meet new people. And why did I choose Davis? I chose Davis based on the advice from my peers. So I worked in a lab where the PhD had done her graduate school here, and I also had a professor at community college who said the community here was awesome. I trusted them, did my own research, and here I am today. And I think we're gonna start opening up questions. So I'll pass it back off to Sheila.
Thank you everyone for your self intros. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with some questions. And then for those of you who are joining us, if you have any questions, please do drop them in the Q&A. But first question here is, how has your time as an Aggie so far impacted your life? If this is your first quarter, you can also share that as well. But how's it like being an Aggie, and how has it impacted your life so far, or what has that been like for you? Anyone can go.
I think for me, it's a big shift. Like I grew up in the Bay Area, so I'm more used to like, city setting and stuff like that. And in Davis, it's a little more out here, out of the way from what I'm used to. So it's a different community of people that I got introduced to. And, you know, the more the more variety of people and different majors that you run into on campus and stuff like that, the more comfortable you get talking and talking about different things and talking about different research topics and stuff like that. So I think just meeting all the new people here on campus has really positively benefited me.
Anyone else want to add? No? Go ahead, Alexa.
I think all of the different opportunities I've been able to experience here on the campus have really opened my eyes to all of the things that I can do as pre-med. Like there's a lot more research I didn't know about. There's different programs like the ID Star program I'm part of. It's made me really interested actually in clinical research now. And then also working as a student outreach ambassador, being able to create a community with some fellow transfer students has been awesome. I've created really great friendships throughout this time.
Thank you, Alexa. All right. We did have a question that came through. So what resources or advising support are available in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences to help transfer students balance labs, research opportunities, and outside responsibilities like work or family? Feel free to answer, and then if there are any resources or advising support that you're currently using, please share as well.
I'll go ahead and start off that question because I wanted to answer that one live. So the College of Ag does have plenty of academic advising services. So based on your major, and you'll have specific advisors, and they specialize in your specific major and help you identify courses. They can help you find internships. I know one of the main resources I get my information through is emails, and there's always an internship available and there's always a job available as well.
Not specifically through the College of Ag, but just Davis in general, we have two programs. We have the Undergraduate Research Center that will help you find undergraduate research and advise you. And we have the Career Center will help you build resumes and find future career paths for you. So both of those, not through the College of Ag, but through Davis. Both pretty good.
Yeah, and also the Aggie Jumpstart program has its own tutoring section. So depending on what you need help with, they have tutors for all of that.
I do also want to add on, like, life happens, right? There's up to 6 free mental health counseling services through your provided through your student fees as well.
All right, thank you, everyone. Okay, this question might be for Alexa. So it's a double major question. How did you decide what you wanted to double major in, and any advice on choosing between a double major or a minor?
Yeah, so I actually took an intro to psychology class at my community college just to kind of get the amount of units I needed. And I just realized how much I actually liked it and found it interesting. So I planned on adding it as a minor once I transferred. After that, once I transferred, I talked to the College of Letters and Science and then also a psychology major advisor just to see what requirements I'd have. And I just had to take one class to be able to declare that minor. So I started going through the course plan and everything. And I realized if I took like 4 more classes, I could count it as a double major instead of just a minor. Just because with the minors, it won't be on your diploma, but if you do double major, both of those majors will be shown on there. So yeah, I say if there's something you're interested in and you have the chance at your community college to take a few of those intro classes, they could help you get that jump start to add a double major or minor here.
Thank you, Alexa. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, so one question regarding housing. How is housing and what do you recommend for transfer students? And then if any of you want to share if you're currently on campus or off campus, and any advice for finding roommates.
I'll go ahead and answer or start us off on this one too. So Davis does have guaranteed transfer housing for your first 2 years. So I'm currently on the green, which is one of the transfer housing. There's multiple options. You could do double room where you share with someone. There's single room, which is where you do have roommates, but you have your own room. And then they also do offer studio apartments, and there are differing fees for those, which you can find online through the Greens website. There is also Orchard Park, which is specifically for student parents and students with families are prioritized there, but you can always, as a transfer student, live there as well.
Kyle, would you like to share?
My housing situation is a bit irregular. I had a friend who was already living in Davis and was going to Davis, so I just moved into his off-campus house. I'm living in a house right now, just off campus. I got very lucky with my situation. I do have to find a house next year, a new living situation. So I'll probably be looking through the school first, but we'll have to see from there.
One more person, Maritza.
So I actually still live at home and I commute. I only live 20 minutes away from campus, so it would be the same if I lived on Davis anyways.
All right. Anybody else want to share? Okay. Next question that we have is what is the process like applying to or joining clubs? We have someone who's interested in learning focus clubs, but I think in general, what has that process been like for you applying to and joining clubs?
I can start this one off.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just kind of scrolled through the whole UC Davis website because I knew exactly what I wanted to join. And I was kind of, just looking at the things that called out to me. And most of them will have a link. Others will have, someone you can text. Others will have, a Google form. And it's kind of just filling out the information and sometimes reaching out to other people. Don't be shy to reach out to people because I mean the worst they can say is no. But most of the time they won't. So it was a lot of, scrolling through things. There was a lot of flyers, QR codes. Yeah.
We also have our student involvement fair every fall where all of the clubs on campus will come to the quad and table. So there'll be hundreds and hundreds of clubs out there tabling. And it's a great way to kind of see what's available and kind of talk with the people who are already in that club.
It's very easy to find your academic club because most professors will push it. Like for me in toxicology, my professor is constantly talking about how we should join toxicology club because it's just a great research for like connect with your fellow peers. So
All right. One question that came in the chat is regarding working off campus, but if you are working off campus, please share. But if you're not working off campus, and you're working on campus, like what has that experience been like? And then do you all have any insight on daily life and advice? So yeah, two parts here. Are you working? And yes, if is it off campus or on campus? And then what is it like working being a full-time student, and any insight on your daily life and advice you like to give?
Yeah, so I actually have an on-campus job and an off-campus job. I work as a phlebotomist, so I draw blood to get some clinical experience. Having two jobs and being a full-time student can get a bit overwhelming, especially with the quarter system and how fast the classes go. Something that really helps me stay on top of everything is I have my physical planner where I literally write everything down. I do a to-do list every single day. I write out all my assignments that are coming up soon, anything I need to get done. That's something that's really helped me be mindful of managing my time, and then also being super strict about my schedule so I don't procrastinate anything, because falling behind can be a struggle with the quarter system. But like I said, the planner and being super disciplined about my time management has really helped me succeed.
Yeah, like I said, I work on campus at the meat lab, so I feel maybe on campus jobs, whoever your manager is might be a little more forgiving when it comes to working around your school schedule. And also, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe during the quarter, you're only allowed to work up to 20 hours. Is that sound right? Um, 20 hours a week, excuse me. And so it makes it a little easier to manage school with a job, because I did used to work at a job off campus, and that was a little hard for me to manage. But I learned by working this on campus job that it's a little bit more fit for my schedule. And then, like Alexa had said, holding yourself accountable to your own schedule, planning ahead is going to be your best friend. I know I struggled with that, like coming from community college. I gave myself like a leisurely schedule of pacing it however I wanted to pace it. But you come into the quarter system, and I take out my iPhone calendar and I put everything in as soon as I get my syllabus, put in my midterm dates, when is ideal time for studying and this and that, and I just make sure I stick to it, because if I don't stick to it, who knows what could the rest of the week look like.
Thank you. I saw a question in the chat regarding I think meals that are offered on campus. But what is your favorite place to eat on campus? And do you have any recommendations for good places to eat at while in Davis?
Yes, my favorite place to eat is the Silo Market. I love going to the deli and kind of building my own sandwich and getting a bag of chips. That's my favorite lunch to get throughout the week. And then also, if you're visiting Davis, I highly recommend checking out Red 88. The food there is so good. The birria fried rice is delicious. And yeah.
My favorite place on campus is the coffee house. I really like their sandwiches. It's affordable for students, and I think off campus, it's not really like a food spot, but I really like coffee, so I'll go to Phil's.
On campus, I have to go with the silo. It's just something about making your own sandwich. It's just the best thing ever. And then if we're talking about off campus, I like Woodstocks. I don't mind a pizza every now and then with my coworkers. So
I'm gonna have to agree with the silo too. I love the builder, um, and I'm also gonna have to say what I think favorite off campus place in general.
I haven't explored much on campus, but I do really love Alibaba's burritos. They make really good breakfast burritos, so love them.
Thank you everyone for sharing. All right, one question in the chat. Are any of you non-traditional students, or are any of you student parents? And then can you share your experience as a transfer into UC and resources available? And then even if you're not, if you know of non-traditional resources or student parent resources, and can share that, please do.
Okay, so this is an awesome question. So I'm actually considered a re-entry student. Yes, I am a transfer student, but just based off my age, I'm considered re-entry, and we have the Transfer and Re-entry Center here. And there's actually a program called Older and Wiser Learners that just started, or OWLS for short, and it helps you connect with students who are 25 and older, and also with fellow student parents. And I know we have a student parent support program. Maybe Alexa knows the name of the program. I'm blanking out on the name, but and then there's also the Orchard Park housing that again prioritizes students with families.
Thank you, Emily. And I am dropping our student parent resources website in the chat here, so you can find out the different like resources, programs, resources and support programs available on campus for any of you who might be student parents. All right. Let's see. We are almost at time. So one last question, or two more questions. What are some yearly traditions or events that UC Davis provides, and what has been your favorite one to attend? I'm gonna pick on Emily for this. Oh, sorry, Alexa, because I was like, I saw Emily had picnic day assistant director on her bio. But go ahead, Alexa, and then Emily, you're next.
I was just gonna say the involvement fair again every year. I like to, even though I went last year, I'm still gonna go again this year just because it's a great way to see all the stuff that is on campus. It would be super fun. So yeah, Emily.
I really like the whole Earth Festival. It's a 3-day festival, and they prioritize trying to be zero waste and prioritize sustainability, which is huge for me because I'm environmental science and management. But yeah, it's awesome. There's like music, there's vendors, there's food. It's pretty cool.
Emily, Boone, Kyle, Maritza, any events or traditions that you have heard of or participated in and you like to share?
I just witnessed the first year run at last weekend's football game. So that was pretty exciting to see, you know, all the first years and transfers run across the whole ball field. So that was pretty cool.
During my first year, I really enjoyed picnic day. Seeing all the faces. There's a bunch of different booths of different stuff going on campus. So again, you get to see more stuff going on. And then also the career fairs that we have sometimes, those are really good resources to go see what job opportunities, internship opportunities you could run into.
All right. Well, we are at time. So last thing is if you can leave our audience with like maybe some words of wisdom or advice, especially for those who are looking to join the UC Davis community. Any words of advice that you would give incoming transfer students?
One of my favorite things someone said as soon as I started at UC Davis, it was something along the lines of UC Davis is like a huge, huge campus, but you need to find ways to make UC Davis feel small to you and find your little community. So that has like stuck with me since the beginning of my time here at UC Davis, and I love that idea.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say something similar, and it's make friends. I would not have survived my transfer journey or, this quarter without any of my friends. They're really the ones that are going to keep you sane, grounded. Things are going to be a lot more enjoyable with them. Study buddies, just like Emily said, finding a way to make UC Davis small, even though it's so big.
I would say utilize your resources, utilize those academic advisors, and also the like mental health advisors are super helpful. But just utilize the resources that are offered, not only here at Davis, but at your community college as well.
There's something for everybody here, and if you look hard enough, you will find it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
And then I'll just add in there at the end, if you are lost, confused, or just don't know where to start with any issue that you're having, start with our dean's office. We are connected all over campus. So if we don't know the answer, we know someone who does. And yeah, we're just here to support you. So yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, everyone. We're gonna just leave you with the UC Davis Top website and contact information, as well as our social media handles. I also put in the chat, I know some of you had some really great questions regarding like your GPA courses and majors and how to prepare for that. So I also did drop in the chat the Find Your UC Davis advisor link. Like, please reach out to your advisors, get connected. That way you can find out more about how to prepare for your majors. But thank you everyone for joining us tonight for the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences highlights. And then thank you to Emily Jens, Emily Boom, Kyle, Maritza, Vanessa, and Alexa for your amazing insight and just sharing more about your experience at UC Davis and the College of Ag. So thank you so much everyone for joining us, and I hope you all have a great evening. We will have more college highlights, so if you are interested in other majors, check out our UC Davis Top website. But have a good night, everyone. Take care.